Today's discussion can be on sabotage, right? Self-sabotaging, sabotage by somebody else in the office, and how to deal with sabotage. So, it is kind of a victim mentality to start with. You know that, like say somebody else is creating something which you cannot do anything about. So today, when I was talking about um, dealing with backlogs. So somebody asked me as to how to deal with backlogs because there is somebody in the office who is sabotaging her efforts, and she has a lot many backlogs, and she was not getting enough cooperation from the colleague, and she thought that it will be good to forgive that person who is sabotaging. So, what I suggested to her was first list out all that backlogs she has and start working on those things. And if she thinks that there is a sabotaging happening, she must have some evidences why she thinks so. And with that evidence, she can have a one-to-one chat conversation with that person who is sabotaging, like, right? So it actually clears up the confusion amongst two people. It would be quite possible that the other person might be thinking that he or she is doing something great, but it is becoming negative towards the organization. That person doesn't realize. So, if as an owner this lady can talk to that person as to why that is not desirable, then the other person will see the point of view this person is making, and it is for the organizational welfare, for well-being, that both of them should work. And because of this misunderstanding, there is a gap happening between two colleagues, and that is why she is not able to reach out to that person. And it is a perception building up inside this person. Although she has forgiven the other person, as she says, but there is some kind of grudge which is building up inside her, some negative feeling building up inside her, and that is why she is not able to take care of her backlog. See, so it the backlog, any negativity actually does lot of destruction to you. So the first thing is, it is not kind of forgiveness, and nothing, no negativity should be forgiven at the first place. Anything that has to be countered, confront, and to be cleared. And so when something happens like this, something, so you need to write down all these things. There has to be a list wherever you are finding that something is missing, or you are not able to know the other person's viewpoint. Just approach that person and go and have a heart to heart talk. The other person will also feel good, you know. So, because everybody know, each of us, whenever we think that there is a misunderstanding, afterwards if we come to know, we always express like this, right? We say that, why didn't you tell me at that moment when this thing was happening? And we don't have any answer. So it is something we keep on, like say I can tell you a story. A wife was there, and she brought in, her husband actually brought in some other child, and they brought up that child also along with this their own children for 22 years. After 22 years, all this while this lady was thinking that this child that her husband has brought in 22 years back was his own child, illegitimate child. And when it came up, and she never expressed this, it was inside her mind. And after 22 years, when somehow it happened that both the children actually wanted to marry with each other. and she thought that because they are brothers and sisters, they cannot marry, and she was opposing it. Then the husband asked why she was opposing, because the girl is very good. Why she was opposing? Then she tried explaining, because that girl is your daughter only. She said, how come you thought that? Then she wanted to ask that, because so and so and so things happened. So I thought it must be your daughter only. The husband asked, "You spent all these 22 years with that ill feeling, with that kind of opinion about me? You should have confronted, and you wasted 22 years, you know." So it between husband and wife, because of our society, maybe things is okay. Maybe we accept that to be okay. Not anymore, although. But what happens if it happens in a workplace? Because you become friends temporarily, right? And you work with each other with complete trust. Whatever trust is possible within a workplace environment, that trust has to be there. Otherwise, what is there between you two to have to form a bond and take the work forward? Because you have to trust. You cannot do everything all by yourself. Na? Like this lady who approached me in the morning, asking that how to clear the backlog. And I asked, why don't you write down all the list? And she wrote down two. And then I asked, why two? Two is manageable, right? So she said, yes, I am trying. But I think the other person is sabotaging. So then I asked, did you talk to her? Talk to that fellow? Did you confront her? This might be your perception. She said, okay, I'll do that tomorrow. See, so many things we keep in mind, and this is a small thing. It is a small aspect of your entire workplace. There may be many things, many more things which is part of workplace, right? There is this ego issue. There are other issues also apart from this sabotaging thing. So it is good that you confront and clear this out. After you clear it up, say sorry if you are on the wrong footing, right? So that also clears up, and like bonds, like say it strengthens the bond between both of you, both these parties. Because no, something a little misunderstanding also creates a very huge gap, and it so happens that unnecessarily it creates a baggage on your mind, and the distrust also happens. That is another thing. Why to take all this burden? It takes just 2 minutes of interaction between the. Can't you ask a question? Why are you doing this? I am trying to do this, and you are not able to support, and still you are going against it. The other person has something to say. He will clarify, or he will apologize about his misconduct, right? And so in both the cases you have your path clarified. It is straightened, and you will completely concentrate on whatever task is at hand, right? And unless you do that, this thing will continue. And I know several things when this thing goes on and on till you clarify. You pick up your phone. If you are at a distance, if you are apart by a distance, then you just pick up the phone, call it, and ask, I'm thinking this. Did you do that? The other person will say something. You can figure out whether the other person is telling a lie, or it is something he'll be taken aback if this is something of your perception. That person will try to clarify, and if you are on the wrong footing, you have to apologize. You have to say sorry. And if that person is on the wrong footing, allow that person to put his or her apology as well, and accept that. Because you want yourself to be accepted by the other person, you also has to have that big heart to accept that person as well. So this is about sabotaging at workplace. Many times happens because of wrong perception. So hope this helps you, and I would request you to like this video as well as my YouTube video channel. You know, this is part of my performance optimization course, and that is to help mid-career professionals to take care of their workplace issues. And everybody's workplace is very different, so maybe we can help. And if you think so, you can book a call with me. And yes, that's it. Thank you.